All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Christian Rocky here of Duel-Threat Sports. We're going to be doing a recap over Week 2. If you want to see that, I don't know why you would, because we're coming out with Week 3. But you could click here on the channel and see the Week 2 bets we did. We went over the spreads and the over-under on points and all of that kind of stuff, and we made predictions of pick'ems here. So we're going to start off with the Texans and the Browns. The final score of that was 31-21 Browns. Some notable injuries here is, first off, Odell Beckham didn't play in this game. He's still kind of up in the air as far as Week 3 goes. So he didn't play in this game. But then during this game, Jarvis Landry suffered a knee injury in the first quarter and didn't return the rest of the game. Coach Stefanski said after the game Landry had an MCL injury and will go an MRI, and it has not came back yet. Usually it comes back about Friday or Saturday, stuff like that, so we'll see how that goes. Baker Mayfield told reporters after the game that he popped his shoulder back in place and is doing okay. I don't know exactly. He went to the locker room like straight after the game was done, and it seemed okay. He did finish the game. He didn't miss a snap, so I would feel pretty good about all the quarterbacks that got hurt. I'd feel pretty good about Baker Mayfield, about playing. Jarvis Landry, that's a different case.
Are you going to go over the point spread and all that, or just game results, or just injuries?
I'm not going to go over the... we have to edit this part out because first off, I was waiting for you to talk. But second off is, no, we're not going over the point spread. That's just for people. If they wanted to bet, then they bet. And that's it. I'm not going over that. If this
You're just going to go over the pick.
If we make actual bets at some point, like make actual bets and show bets, then yes. If not, then no.
You're just going to go over the.
So I just want to go over the game, the score, what happened during it, and nothing to do with Week 3, really. I mean, if something like Odell Beckham affected Week 2 and it's also going to affect Week 3, I mentioned it. But, yeah, I mean, that's about it. And then I'll go over the pick'em after. So that's about it.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going back to the recording. I'm going to jump back in at this point here. And for the Texans side, we have Tyrod Taylor got hurt, which sucks because obviously Deshaun Watson is already out. There's already a confirmation Deshaun Watson, regardless of the Tyrod Taylor injury, is not playing in Week 3. So we had quarterbacks hurt on both sides of the ball. Here, that's rough. That is rough, and Jarvis Landry is a wide receiver on the Browns got hurt. Kenny Stills was out with some kind of illness. I don't think it was COVID related on the Texans here. So definitely some loss on both sides. It looks like the Tyrod injury was a hamstring. Hopefully that's about it. Unfortunately, he does have the Thursday night game for this week. I mentioned that
so you
because
probably won't be seeing him playing.
Right.
He probably will sit out at least a week.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a recap of Week 2, but for purposes of a Thursday or a Monday night game, it's a place that we could talk about it because, you know, in our Thursday/Friday videos of looking at the following week, we don't go over Thursday night games and Monday night games, so here's a place that you can hear us talk about it if that's what you want. But yeah, so with them getting the short week on Thursday, obviously, as you know, that's not good. Yeah, he's not expected to play Thursday versus the Panthers, and they'll know more about his status on MRI, I would assume probably by... I assume we're probably going to hear something Friday or Saturday as well regarding the following week, is what I'm assuming in this case here. It looks like he's going to be replaced by rookie Davis Mills. And the only other quarterback there I want to say is Josh Jackson, I believe. I don't really know. Honestly, Who cares at this point, right? Why don't they just sign Cam Newton? But on to
Yeah, I mean, if Tyrod Taylor's out for any significant time, that could be a move.
yeah. I mean, I don't know why he's not on a team. That's stupid. It looks like I went Browns here. Oh no, we both went Browns here. So that is a point for both of us. Keeping track of the picks. For those who didn't see the last week video, we are going to be doing pick'ems just for fun. We did make a bet too, but we'll wait until we get to that to see who won and what team it was. Okay. So,
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that I win.
you'll find out. You'll find out. I don't want to spoil it here. So we both got that one right with the Browns. Okay. We're going to move on now to Bengals and the Bears. I picked Cincinnati and you picked Chicago. So you actually got that one there.
I had hometown faith.
Yeah, I should have, man. I wanted it, but I didn't know how realistic it was. It was only by 3 points because, as you know, we're watching the game together. They got 3 damn picks in a row, and then out of nowhere, here's Joe Burrow flicking it for 2 last-minute touchdowns. Which, oh my God, it's so frustrating to be a Bears fan.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough going, but at least we sealed it out. And yeah, I mean, one significant injury and Andy Dalton getting hurt. No timetable on his injury, but as far as injuries go, it could be an exciting one as a Bears fan because we'll get to see what Justin Fields is made of. So
it's definitely a bittersweet moment. To be honest with you, between him needing to prove himself over Justin Fields and playing against his old team, he had everything in the world to prove. And I don't know if he could play harder than he played during that game. And I just don't know what it means going forward. If he were to miss time and Justin Fields plays, does Andy Dalton get it back? I don't know. I think Andy Dalton played really well. The injury is a knee injury. At first I thought maybe it was an ankle, the way he landed on it. But it seems like it's a knee injury. I can't tell the severity of it. I would say at least a week. That may be it, though. And maybe just a week. But it seems like as if it could be more. It's hard to say. You never know with those kind of things. It's just us looking at it as fans. It's obviously hard to tell. So, let's see if there's anything on the Bengals side. I don't see any injuries as far as the Bengals go. Did you know of any of them that I missed?
On the injury report?
Yeah, for the Bengals Chicago game, I haven't heard anything. I think we're good other than Andy Dalton. On the Bengals side, I haven't really heard of anything. So I guess it's a good thing, and there isn't really anything notable on that side. I mean, that's not a bad thing. The end score of that game, like I said, was the 2017 Bears, and you got that one. Going on to the next one I got here is the Steelers and Raiders. We both went Pittsburgh there and lost.
But I did say I think that the Raiders could win, but I think I had to stay with you and pick the Steelers.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I did
say in the video that I thought
it was tough. I mean, I don't know if you realize. We'll talk about this more on the Thursday show.
Oh, and I thought for sure at least the Raiders were going to cover. So I believe in the Raiders this year, man. They could win you a lot of money.
It's tough. I think the Raiders are doing really well, and I also simultaneously think Ben has looked very bad. So it's very hard to tell exactly what's what. But the combination of the Steelers and the Ravens is very impressive, and I don't know if you noticed, but their Week 3 matchup is really easy as well. I want to say it's the Dolphins.
Who? Steelers or
the Raiders? I think the Raiders are getting the Dolphins after this 2-0, which is big. I mean, I don't remember exactly who it was, but I'll tell you they could definitely go. I think, an pretty easy 3-0. Let's see, they're playing. Yeah, they're playing the Dolphins. I don't want to touch too much into that, but it's interesting looking for a 3-0. The score was 26-17. The Raiders just kind of, anytime the Steelers did something good, the Raiders had an answer right back. I think Derek Carr is playing with the big fire this year, and Henry Ruggs is looking good. I think it was a pretty clutch signing of Kenyon Drake over there, for sure, because a mixture of him, Peyton Barber, and obviously Josh Jacobs is good. Speaking of Josh Jacobs, you can go ahead on that one.
He is basically day-to-day. They said he's highly questionable or very questionable to play next week. So I would not plan on him being in. On the other side, the Steelers did lose T.J. Watt. He's been basically. They said he's gonna miss at least a couple weeks. So look for Steelers to potentially struggle and go to a losing record potentially in these maybe a couple next few games. But yeah, they're going to have a rough going on the defensive side for sure.
Yeah, they have a lot of key pieces out on the defensive side. They had an offensive lineman suffer a fractured ankle, is going to get more tests. I assume obviously will be out for a significant amount of time. Another offensive lineman spit in somebody's face and got ejected, which, I mean, come on, what the hell are you doing? You're already losing. And the worst one's got to be Deontay Johnson.
Getting hurt on the last play of the game.
Yeah. I mean, being down like that really sucks even that much more to have him get hurt. Yeah, he suffered a knee injury, and there's no update yet from Tomlin. I'm sure, obviously as we get closer to Sunday, we will look a bit more into that. I mean, that's about it on the Steelers side. Again, I think Ben looked terrible. I do like the rookie for the most part. Still, either way, I think Najee Harris has looked pretty good this year. It's tough. I don't really know what to think about them going forward, to be honest with you. And, I mean, we'll talk about that more on the betting show. But they look trash, and Raiders look good. Yeah, Raiders, that was about it. They had... They just had Josh Jacobs out. I don't think any key pieces got hurt. I know one of their offensive linemen did. Let's see here. Yeah, they had the rookie offensive tackle. He was picked pretty early in the draft. He was ruled out. It doesn't say exactly what he had, though. But yeah, other than that, like I said, Raiders, big one there. We both picked the Steelers, and we lost that one. Next game here was the Bills in Miami. Boy, was that something. You know the score of that one?
35-0, but it was a weird 35-0.
That was a very weird 35-0.
I'm sure if I told you that, you wouldn't think Josh Allen had, 193 passing yards?
Oh, is that right? I knew it was under 300. I didn't know it was under 200.
Yeah.
It was a huge game for the running backs. There was a touchdown by, I believe it's just one apiece. One for Zach Moss, and I believe one of the first plays of the game, Devin Singletary.
I think Moss got two, and Singletary
got two, and Singletary, one of the first plays of the game, ripped like a 67-yard touchdown or something like that. So I just think it was a case of they didn't need him to be that guy. And
right.
Even if there was points of the game they did, when Tua went out, I mean, that's all bets off. There's no way that they would need him at that point. That's crazy. I mean, obviously, Bills is a superior team here, but that's an ass whooping. I had Bills defense in fantasy football. Us people love that. We both picked the Bills to win this week. Obviously, let's see. So injury-wise, let's see if there's anything notable.
Other than Tua,
obviously, the biggest thing, is going to be On the Dolphins side, Tua getting out was bad. Looks like it was a rib injury, was a big deal. It's hard to say. His injury sounds very similar to the Amari Cooper injury. We'll get to that at some point, but it just sounds like, a big rib problem, and obviously I don't think their offensive line is good enough to be getting knocked down as much as Tua does, and I don't think they're good enough to want to risk it. It's very tough. I see at least 2 weeks out for him. I think Brissett is a more than capable backup too, anyway, to be honest.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, on the fantasy side, yeah, for sure. I mean, he'll run a bit. As far as getting wins, I mean, I don't know, but
I'm a Colts fan, so he was with us for a while. He kind of played kind of like an Alex Smith, where it's like he's not going to be the reason your team won, but he's not going to be the reason your team lost either. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's kind of like a 2 touchdown, 0 picks kind of guy. You need to put a good running game around him, which clearly Miami doesn't have. But just ultimately, I think they just need to let Tua rest. You know what I mean? They're not. It's not like they're 2-0 sitting in this situation here. What are they actually? They're. Did they lose week 1 as well?
I think so.
Let's see. They beat the Patriots by 1 actually, so they're 1-1. So I mean, I can understand some hesitation on just letting him sit out as long as possible. They're probably going to want him back then. Understandable. I mean, that division is more up for grabs than it's ever been with Brady out of there. I mean, the Jets is... I mean, really, the Bills are their only competition. It's not the Patriots or Jets, so... It's kind of a weird situation for them into it, to be honest with you. On the other side of the Bills, there's not really anything to talk about. I know... what is the guy's name? The wide receiver... What is his name? You know what I'm talking about? The third wide receiver, not Cole Beasley. Gabriel Davis. There you go. Gabriel Davis was late. Like he was expected to play but didn't. It seemed like Emmanuel Sanders was pretty limited as well. That's about it. I mean, nothing crazy, but obviously if Josh Allen were to lose multiple of those guys, like Gabriel Davis and Emmanuel Sanders, I think that's kind of a big deal. If all he has is the running backs, just Diggs, and just Cole Beasley, I think that may be enough to lose the game, to be honest with you. I mean, depending on how good the rush defense is. I mean, he could rush himself, obviously. You know how he is.
I mean, you got to think about Zach Moss too, because they shut him down randomly week 1, and then week 2 he has a 2 touchdown game. So it's like, I don't know. He could be a problematic kind of player too, and if you can't trust the running backs each week, that could determine if Josh Allen's throwing 50 passes or 30.
I think they were just up so much in that game that it just didn't matter. I mean, the snap count of the running backs week 1, Moss, I don't even know if he touched the ball 5 times. Did he even play at all? No. Okay, that's what I thought. So, I didn't know if it was like a in the doghouse kind of situation or just kind of limited. I mean, it's not like Devin Singletary had all the work in the world, you know what I mean? So I didn't miss out on too much. But, I mean, I think if they're up, Josh Allen shouldn't really be... If they're up by 2 touchdowns or more and they're not versing a top team, Josh Allen has no business running. Mm-hmm. Really. I mean, it shouldn't be. I'm sure he'd want to, but doesn't really have any business running. If you want to start on this Rams and Colts game, if you got anything to say about it.
Rams 27, Colts 24. It actually became a pretty decent game. I believe Stafford finished with 2 touchdowns and maybe 1 interception. I don't. There were 2 big injuries in this game. A rib cartilage injury by Darrell Henderson for the Rams, the running back, and then I think what was it, an ankle injury for Carson Wentz?
It was. He actually. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that he fractured both ankles. I don't know if that's true. I mean, it sounds ridiculous.
Fractured one ankle and tried getting up on the other one and broke the other one.
It's kind of like that episode of SpongeBob where it's like my back is made of glass and my ankles are made of tinfoil. Like, you know that dude, and he's like faking an injury on in the chocolate bar episode. I'm gonna put up a picture on when I edit this video to show people what I'm talking about. That's basically Carson Wentz, and as a Colts fan, it's so shitty.
Put Carson Wentz next up against Peter Griffin holding his knee.
Yeah, it's bad. No, it was frustrating. I mean, the end score was something to be happy about, but between Quentin Nelson's injury in the beginning of the year, Carson Wentz being hurt to start the year, and then, all right, he's healthy again. Now he has COVID. Okay, and then he finally says he's going to play Week 1. Played really well against Seattle. Actually, played really well against Rams. Other than his, oh my God, just horrific shovel passes. Did you see those picks? And what was almost even more picks? I've never seen anyone throw a shovel pass interception. He threw a shovel pass interception at the 5-yard line.
Oh, that's bad.
I've never seen it. It's terrible. But, I mean, ultimately, all in all, with in and out injuries on the offensive line, with T.Y. Hilton being gone, with Pittman being as young as he has, Zach Pascal actually, if you were to guess, where would Zach Pascal sit as far as red zone targets in the NFL?
I would say very, very low, but then knowing Carson
second in the NFL.
I would say, but knowing Carson Wentz, that's all he does is pass in the red zone.
Zach Pascal, I believe, only has 30 to 35 yards outside of the red zone, but is second in the NFL in red zone targets.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's just odd, really. I mean, that's something more for fantasy football. I mean, he's not really. That got maybe like 14-team leagues. I definitely would go scoop him up, and Pittman, no doubt. But no, it's just super odd. It's such a weird feeling as a Colts fan because they came so close to winning that game, but losing Carson Wentz is like, I don't even give a shit about that one game now, you know. But anyway, past that, like you said about the Rams, Darrell Henderson, I personally think he's going to be out for a little bit for fantasy purposes. I don't think that helps Sony Michel. I'm not rushing out to go get Sony Michel whatsoever. I mean, I think he'll be okay. I think he's like a 14 carries for 35 yards and a touchdown. Like, sure, you know, if you're like going for a okay floor, 10 points, like, I don't know. I'm not huge on it, but the way the Rams have been playing is very good with Matt Stafford. Actually, we're going to talk more about this Thursday. I'm not going to get into it crazy right now. But the Rams are favored. And it's very surprising who it's against. You can go look. We'll talk more about that Thursday. But for people listening, go look at that, and you'll be surprised. They're favored in a game that they really shouldn't be. But as far as the pick'ems, I went with Colts just because fuck it, why not? Lost. You got the Rams here. So far, you're 4-1.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I thought I'd right where I'd be.
Okay, here comes the bet game. It was +3 Eagles for me. No, we took the straight up actually. Straight up 25 for me, straight up 20 for you. Eagles 49ers. I took the Eagles, you got the Niners. 49ers won 17-11. Sounds like a crap game.
$25 in my pocket. Hell yeah.
No, $20. I had
20
25.
bucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. $20.
Yep, that's a $20 bet there. Nice job. Nice job. We'll get another one in on Thursday.
You already made money here, folks.
Yeah, that was I'm glad I didn't watch that game, I'll tell you that much. I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about on the game. The only thing I'd have to say is for 49ers going forward and fantasy football wise, I have zero interest in those 49er running backs. I thought maybe Elijah Mitchell, and after this game, I mean, there were injuries. There were injuries. There was a concussion from Trey Sermon. There's a shoulder injury from Elijah Mitchell, and Jermichael Hasty had an ankle injury, and they all three left the game and didn't return. So I'm just at a point where I have no interest in any of them. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't touch him. It's hard to even touch anybody on that offense. You can't even trust Kittle.
I will actually pat myself on the back at least for the first 2 weeks with Debo. That was my guy for the year, and that's a guy I still feel confident about. But yeah, so that's all we got going on for the 49ers injury-wise. If we're going to go on to Philadelphia, it looks like their main defensive end, Brandon Graham, left with an ankle injury. Looks like with the torn Achilles. And one of their main guards, Brandon Brooks, exited with the chest injury, and it looks like it ended up being a pec injury, and he's going to undergo an MRI. The easy thing to say about that is Miles Sanders has been bad from a fantasy standpoint. From the little I've seen of Eagles this year, he just doesn't look that good. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just doesn't fit with Jalen Hurts, but I don't know. I don't like him in fantasy going into the year. I don't know what you think about that team. It's a weird offense.
Yeah, they're struggling for their identity. They don't know who they are. They want to be a running team, a passing team. Yeah, I think they're just confused.
Yeah, you know why? Because they don't have the Deshaun Jacksons, the Jeremy Maclin, the just those kind of speed players where play action is such a big deal. I mean, regardless of what people want to say about Nelson Aguilar, he was similar, Someone like, if you run a pass, play action kind of offense, he's a good guy for it, and they just don't have those guys to really capitalize like they did.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of the Philadelphia offense. We'll go on to Broncos and the Jags. I went Denver and you went Jacksonville. That game ended 23-13. Denver. I got that one. I'm not even 500 yet. I'm 3-4. So yeah, like I said, 23-13 Broncos. Obviously, as you know, Jerry Jeudy was out for that game. He's going to continue to be out for a couple weeks. If you watch the waiver video yesterday, then you'll be able to see. I did suggest Tim Patrick as one of my favorite fantasy football waiver wire pickups. I think even with Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick replacing Jerry Jeudy for a few weeks is going to be, I think at the very least, a flex play, if not a low-end wide receiver 2-ish, you know? I think he's a very safe 10 points.
Oh, if you're going for a safety and like a low floor type of deal, yeah.
No, I think he has a high floor. I think his ceiling is kind of low.
Oh, based on targets and whatnot, yeah, maybe potentially.
Yeah, no,
really
he's been good so far.
Depends on who you're playing.
He's been good so far. I feel really good about him as a waiver wire pickup. He's been picking up the slack for the team since then. Luckily, they just had to go against Jacksonville there, so that wasn't too bad for them either way anyway. I don't really see much. Oh, well, actually, how could I forget? Oh, Laviska Shenault got hurt and signed in James O'Shaughnessy. And they also had cornerback C.J. Henderson leave early and didn't come back. And one of their guards, A.J. Cann, with a hamstring, exited. I don't know necessarily how much that's going to affect James Robinson. I think how it's going to affect the offense as far as Shenault being hurt. I think for sure Shenault's going to be, for starters, Shenault's going to be gone at least a week in my opinion. That's going to help Marvin Jones and that's going to help James Robinson. I think regardless of also losing the guard, James Robinson will get a bunch of more catches with Laviska Shenault getting hurt. Looking at the play count last week, James Robinson was actually top 6 of snap share. I believe he ended with like a 67 or 68% of the team rushing percentage, which is a big deal. I think he's going to end up falling into some catches, hopefully a little bit more than Carlos Hyde. I know they kind of still like him catching passes for God knows what reason, but anyway, I think the biggest benefactor is going to be Marvin Jones. We both mentioned him in the video yesterday of the waiver wire column. He's been great, and I think he's going to be even better now.
It's just always one of those guys, like, no matter where he is, he's going to produce.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, I ended up with him in, I think, 3 out of 4 of my leagues, because it's like, they don't sign a veteran to be their 4th guy. You know? They don't sign, I mean, I think he hit 10 touchdowns, like, 3 of the last 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, they're not going to go pay, regardless of what he got, they're not going to go pay a veteran to be their 4th guy. Like, everyone's like, oh, give me Shenault over him, give me DJ Chark, give me this. Like, no. Marvin Jones, I think, will end up the number 1 wide receiver for the team, no doubt. In my opinion. Want to talk about something we were terribly wrong about?
What's that?
Jets winning a game.
Oh, yeah. Well, the rookie quarterbacks did start off terribly.
They did. But regardless, I think a huge...
Well, like I said, it's picking which rookie are you picking to do better.
I agreed with that initially, but after Sunday hit, I just rethought it, and I'm like, you know what? As much as that's true, it's really not. The biggest thing to think about is it's Bill Belichick. I'll take Bill Belichick's smart mind over anything the Jets have. That should have been easy, at least in my head. I mean, regardless of Brady or not, Bill Belichick is still top notch. So I think for future reference, when it comes to the Patriots and the really, really bad teams, they could beat a few of these teams, I think, pretty easily. They won 25-6.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody going in fantasy in those games? In that game?
No. Thank God. I have Elijah Moore on my bench, though, just in case he actually wants to.
That's the rookie on the Jets?
Yeah, but The quarterback issues, create wide receiver issues, so you can't really blame
Yeah.
him for that one.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any significant injuries on either side except for Jamison Crowder, maybe.
Jamison Crowder didn't play as far as I know. No, he did not. That's really the biggest thing going into it. No issues running back wise. I mean, they didn't do anything. Tevin Coleman did jack, but again, being down like that, they're not going to give him run anyway. Really not going on overall with the Jets, really in any aspect kind of thing. Patriots wise, both Damian Harris and James White looked really good. They were letting James White run quite a bit and more than Damian Harris, which is weird because, as you know, James White has been the pass catching running back that's on the field when the Patriots are losing. So it's really odd. I know he got over 10 touches on the ground, which is really weird. I don't know. I didn't know what to think about it. I'm going to give it another week before I panic on Damian Harris. But, yeah, there's really not much to talk about here other than, like you said, Jamison Crowder. I don't see anything significant on the Patriots side. So we're going to move on to the next one here, and that is the Vikings and Cardinals. I'll start off with saying that was an amazing game.
Weren't like the Vikings down by like 20 points in that game at some point too? They had a pretty good comeback and then they took the lead and then they gave it up.
No. It was back and forth the entire game. The game ended with them missing a 5 seconds left on the clock, 37-yard field goal to win the game. They ended up losing 34-33. It was really terrible, actually. On the Cardinals side, I didn't notice or hear anything regarding any injuries, so that's good, obviously, for them. But
I thought DeAndre Hopkins got hurt, honestly, because he didn't get another touch after the half. After halftime, he didn't get one more touch.
I don't know necessarily what it was, if they were limiting him. I mean, I noticed that they were double covering him almost the whole game.
Yeah,
and when that happens, there's always going to be a guy open.
Right.
You double cover a guy, there's going to be someone else open. It happened quite a bit with the Chiefs and the Ravens Monday night.
Tyreek Hill didn't have good numbers, but the team did.
Right. And that's exactly what happens sometimes. And I don't know if you noticed, but Kyler Murray was loving himself some AJ Green.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like you said, with Marvin Jones before, sometimes you love those veteran pickups because, when you're a young quarterback, those guys are solid.
They're reliable. And they know how to adjust to you rather than you adjusting to them, which quarterbacks have to do with the younger guys.
Right, exactly.
But the biggest thing here, I don't know if you knew, but there was a lot of weird shit going on with Delvin Cook. I mean, he was in and out of the game limping 3 different times. They didn't seem that concerned about it, but yeah, he was limping and holding his ankle even one of the times. I don't know exactly what it is. They have kind of kept it hush-hush. I hope it doesn't mean much. It makes me want to go trade him, actually, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go ship him off here just in case. As you know, in my one league, I have Kirk Cousins, Thielen, and him. So I was thinking about it just in case. Let's go get rid of him now, ship him up for a good deal,
Right, yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be 1,000% wrong, and it's no big deal. But, he's had his fair share of injuries, so it's nothing to scoff at for sure.
He's missed two games every year for the last 4 years, I think they said.
Mm-hmm. That is right. Buccaneers, Falcons. We both picked the Bucs here and got it right. The final score of that one was a lot to a little. Matt Ryan, of course, on the little side. No, it's 48-25 Buccaneers. Brady did Brady stuff. Let me tell you.
Mike Evans, 2 touchdowns. And what was it? The cornerback or the safety had 2 picks for a touchdown?
I believe the same guy, actually.
And I think they were honestly back-to-back plays.
That I'm not positive of, but as far as I know, the 2 things I've seen, I heard that the 2 picks on Kirk Cousins on the Arizona side was both Tyrann Mathieu, one for a touchdown, one not, but that he got 2. And then the Tampa Bay guy I heard was 2 pick sixes. I don't know if that's true. I didn't watch any of the game.
Tom Brady had another 5 touchdown game.
Is that right?
That brought him within 2 games of most games with 4 or more touchdown passes all time. What's his name? Drew Brees has 37 and he has 35. So he could probably he will probably more than likely pass that this season. So
Peyton has the most though, right?
No, Drew Brees has the most.
Yeah. Drew Brees is the man too. Injury wise in this Buccaneers, I mean they had their like 4th or 5th wide receiver, I think. Oh, it's because Scotty whatever is like their number 4, right? Yeah, so it's like their 5th wide receiver was ruled out. That's about it. Atlanta Falcons. Now, for starters, their cornerback was ruled out of the game with the concussion, as if that team could get any worse. Their pass rush is pretty decent, but other than that, they're pretty bad. The biggest thing, though, was Russell Gage went to this game questionable and didn't return. He went out at some point. I think it was the second quarter. He went out and didn't return. If you look at the video yesterday in the waiver column, my biggest running back / wide receiver is Cordell Patterson, and a lot of people would see that. Like people's been playing fantasy for a little bit and think like, we've all seen that before. I don't want anything to do with that kind of thing, but with Russell Gage being gone and only having Kelvin Ridley, they don't have that slot guy in Julio Jones anymore. They don't, having Mike Davis is not really a huge pass-catching guy. So I think you're going to get Cordell Patterson, which in some formats you could play him running back or wide receiver. I think he's going to guy who's probably going to get, 5 or 6 carries and 6 catches, like
like a Taysom Hill type of deal.
Yeah, and I think with that being, he got 2 touchdowns Sunday, I believe. He ended up with 2 touchdowns, and like I said, it doesn't mean he's gonna do more on the ground than Mike Davis. I highly doubt that. I think he's gonna get the, goal-to-goal rushing attempts in the red zone, but I think Cordell Patterson will definitely get some red zone looks, no doubt. Some screen passes even as a running back kind of thing. I definitely think he'll touch the ball a lot, and that's just my point, regardless of what it is. I think he's a great pickup, really. Especially with, you're not going to sit these stars that are doing bad, but there's been enough injuries, between running backs and wide receivers to maybe slot this guy in. I think he's pretty good. But other than that, I don't know if you got anything for this game. Or is that about it?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
The next game I got here is the Titans and Seahawks. It was a good game, if you want to start talking about that one.
Tennessee 33, Seattle 30 in overtime. It was actually a very good game to watch. Another really low play, high efficiency game for Russell Wilson. I think he again had I think he ended the game with like over 300 yards, but around the end of the game, he only had like 200 yards and maybe 3 or 4 passing touchdowns. The guy just was I think he only had like 20 pass attempts. The guy is just, well, when you have guys like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, it's easy to be efficient, but the guy is just money when it comes to making deep ball passes. And yeah, the Tennessee Titans still stuck true to their running game, and I don't know how they climbed back into this game. I think at a point they were down 24-6.
I believe you're right. I need a confirmation. Is Derrick Henry human? Because he looked like a senior out there with 8th graders. Like, there's no other way to put it. That dude is nuts.
Yeah, I mean 24-6, and you still stick to the running game and come back and win. I don't know how that happens.
In a PPR league, at least in the one I have him in, he scored almost 50 points.
Yeah.
I mean, he ended up, close to 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and even, like, some catches for once, too. Like, he put the team on his back, and the funniest part about that, it was talked about quite a bit, was those drops from A.J. Brown.
Yeah, he only had 3 catches out of 9 targets. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, no, he was doing really bad on the drop. So it's like, geez, I mean, and Julio hasn't done much since being there. So like Derrick Henry, dude, he's insane. And you know the craziest part about what he did is he had one of the starting offensive tackles out for the game, inactive before the game started, and he also had one of his guards leave the game in the third quarter.
Wow.
He still did that. That is insane, dude. That guy's nuts. This was one of my favorite games of the week. I enjoyed the second half is what I got to watch of this one. But no, it's a good one. The pick'ems here, what you had Seattle and I had the Titans. So, now going to... It looks like we did the Monday night game pick, actually. I mean, there's still... I mean, we'll do the Cowboys and Chargers first. But I just didn't know that we ended up going with that. That's cool.
Those are the last 2 games to talk about, Cowboys and Chargers.
That's right, yeah. So Cowboys here won 20-17. We both went with Dallas there and got that right. To be honest with you, until looking right now, I didn't even know that they won. We were watching that game right after the Chicago-Cincinnati game at the shop. And it's a back and forth game. I thought it was going to be a lot better than it was. It was really hard defense action there, which is good, but it's not the shootout that you thought it was going to be, you know?
Yeah, both these teams have pretty mediocre defenses. You didn't assume that it was going to be the game that it was, but a good game overall.
Yeah, they played each other very hard.
As for injuries, other than Michael Gallup, you have the Amari Cooper injury that occurred. That's why my pickup of the week was Tony Pollard, because his play has been amazing without the injuries, but with same as you said with James Robinson, with Shenault going down, I just feel like Tony Pollard is already the receiving back on the team. And with the injury to Amari Cooper and already to Michael Gallup, that he's going to lock on targets. He's probably going to average 6 a game. There could be games where he gets, and there are games where he gets 10 looks a game, and out of your backup running back, that's pretty great. And as far as handcuffs go, he's probably one of the best handcuffs in the game.
I think he's probably one of the best backup running backs in the NFL, really.
Right,
for
handcuff,
starters.
yeah. So if Ezekiel Elliott goes down,
I think he's more than that, even though. I think he's more like what Latavius Murray has been in the NFL kind of thing.
Or how Terry Cohen was when
Right.
he was not injured. Yeah.
Giovanni Bernard in his good days, James White, like that kind of that
like,
kind of
yeah,
thing. Or
he's a
even how Naeem
backup, but
Hines is right now is kind of similar.
he's a backup, but not a backup.
Just a pass catcher, and I think CeeDee Lamb is usually in the slot. I don't see Amari Cooper playing here. For sure, Michael Gallup. I'm just looking. We'll start with Michael Gallup for starters. I believe Michael Gallup, they said, was put on the IR. Yeah, he was placed on the IR for a calf injury, so that puts him out for the next 3 games. So that automatically just leaves Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was playing in the slot at this point. There's no way he stays there. He's going to go to the outside for sure, whether Amari Cooper plays or not. So hypothetically, if Amari Cooper's playing, I think CeeDee Lamb's on the other side, and that opens up the potential for Tony Pollard to even get some slot action.
Yeah, you could actually see some big games out of Dayton Schultz too.
Yeah. I mean, they could even do some slot stuff with him, but I mean, I think they might go some 2 running packages. Honestly, I think they might have Zeke and Tony Pollard on the field at times,
Which would not be bad.
which would be pretty good actually. Especially, I mean, I think it'd be good regardless, but I think it's almost 100% necessary if Amari Cooper doesn't play. It sounds like he has bruised ribs all around. That's shitty. I don't see him playing through that. I mean, if he does, it's like you're one bad catch away from being out for the game.
For the year.
Well, I wouldn't say the year, but a game or 2, yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
The injury is significant enough.
Yeah, there wasn't any cracks or anything like that. He did get x-rays and whatnot. It's just, they're highly bruised, but I don't see him playing this week. At least 1 week. I think maybe even 2. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that on the Thursday show. I'm sure you might hear a little bit more at that point. We're going to go to the Chiefs and Ravens game. We both took the Chiefs and lost.
Yeah.
We both.
I'm surprised about that. It was a very odd game. I don't think there was any significant injury. Obviously, the only injuries of significance are all the Ravens running backs. But other than that, I don't think anything too big happened during the game.
Right. I'm mistaken. The Chiefs and Ravens. I'm sorry. I said Monday. That was a Sunday night game, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I'm mistaken that for Monday night game. Yeah, we didn't do the Monday night game. I don't know necessarily that we're going to during the Thursday show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure that out Thursday. We'll talk about that Thursday. But going to the Chiefs and Ravens game, you watched the whole game, right?
Yeah. It was Chiefs Ravens. That was well, you were watching it too, weren't you?
I was. Yeah, I seen just about all of it.
I mean, really, it was weird. Like, there was a bunch of miscues and stupid mistakes turned into defensive touchdowns and poor field position. And then finally, in like the fourth quarter, both teams wanted to play amazing football and just go back and forth with it. And it was just, it turned into, it was a messy game, turned into a great game. But overall, it was just a very, very good game where just great defense and great running versus a great offense and great passing. I mean, it's how you want every game to go, pretty much.
Yeah, no, it was great. It really was. And I'm happy for Lamar to get that first win against Kansas City. I don't know if you've seen that stat they showed, but he's like some crazy amount, like 35-5 against the league minus Patrick Mahomes. Just some stupid stat. And then against Mahomes.
Had he lost there, I think there would have been some questions rising up about how legitimate of a quarterback he is?
I don't think so, but I don't think I don't think you'd be questioning him, but you may be questioning playoff status.
Well, how I said it to Joel, I was like, um, Lamar Jackson would be the starting running back on the Chiefs. He wouldn't be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
That's
No,
that's
I
all
mean
had to say.
he's really good,
Still,
but
he'd
it
still
was a big
play,
deal.
but
Yeah, no, it was definitely a big deal there. Yeah, they said against the Chiefs he is like 0-3 with a 78.7 passer rating against the Chiefs, and otherwise he's like 90 something. It was really crazy, but no, I'm happy for him. I give him props there. You know, you don't want to see the big dogs win all of them. I do give the Ravens props on shutting down Tyreek Hill for whatever that's worth.
yeah,
Especially
yeah,
considering, and you notice this for sure, is their starting Baltimore starting safety was ruled out prior to the start of the game.
yeah.
He was a game time decision, was what it seems like. So, yeah, man, but that's about it. I just realized we went a little bit longer than I thought for this video, but I had a good time, and we will be back tomorrow for the Thursday night stuff. So, yeah, hope you had a good time, man.
Have a good one, guys. You're cutting the video, right? Or were we saying goodbye?
Now we're not. Damn it, you make me do so much fucking editing sometimes. I swear.